As an entrepreneur, you know how important it is to be efficient and save time. But with all the tasks that need to get done in the day, it can feel like there's not enough hours in the day. Automating workflows can help you streamline your processes and free up time for other projects. Unfortunately, most entrepreneurs feel like automation requires more resources than they have available. Luckily, there is a tool called Zapier, which makes workflow automation easy and accessible to everyone. With Zapier, you can connect different online services together so that the tedious and repetitive tasks are automated, allowing you to focus on what really matters. So let's hurry and talk about this. We are talking about saving time by automating workflows with Zapier. Now, you're probably wondering, how can Zapier help me automate my business processes? And you might even be wondering, do I even have business processes or workflows? How do I know? Now, every single thing that you do has a process, has a workflow that goes into it. There's actually, the way it works is there's processes and then the workflows are inside the processes. And so whenever you're doing something, and since I talk to content creating entrepreneurs, whenever you're creating content, you have a process or a workflow. Think of it as like a checklist of things that you check off as you're creating your content. That is your workflow. That is your process. And so how can Zapier help you automate those? Is that you're going to sit down and write them out. That's what I first recommend doing, is writing out your process. What do you need to do from the beginning to the end to complete something? And inside of that, you would then determine if something can be automated. And the way that you determine if something can be automated is you decide if it's something that you manually have to do. And even inside of each of these, like, you want to break it down. There might be something inside of that that can be automated. So I'm going to get into that more in detail in a minute when I share some examples of kind of how I do this. Now, let's just talk about it now, actually. Let's just talk about it so you know what I'm talking about. So let's have the example of creating new content. My pillar area for this podcast, for example, is I am always thinking podcasts first. And so the way that it works is I would sit down, think of an idea, and this idea goes into my project management software. If you're new here, I love project management software. And within there, it helps me organize everything. And inside that, I start clicking things and it starts doing things automatically for me because I have it linked to Zapier. But what I do is I have my workflow done up where I have the steps that I take. And so I come up with the idea. And then once I have the idea, I like to create a Google Doc that allows me to discover the keywords that I need to hit on, my meta description, the titles that I'm going to focus on, and all the other stuff that goes along with it. Now, this document, because I have my workflow written out, I know that creating the document, actually creating the document, can be automated. I don't need to do that. And the awesome thing is that Google Docs, they have templates where if you create this template inside a Google Doc, you can automatically link to it with Zapier, and Zapier can create the template from, or create a document from the template. And you can add stuff to it and all that fun stuff. And that's going to have to be for another time because that just gets us into more in-depth things. And honestly, if you're really wanting to see that, I have an automation course. Hopefully soon it's going to be live forever, evergreen. And so you can find that. I'll link to it below in the description just so you can see it, because maybe by the time you're watching this, it is live. But it goes into detail on creating workflows and linking them up with automation and that whole side of it, because there's a lot to it. And that's why that course is a must, because it's a lot to it, but it's not as hard as you think. So especially if somebody walks you through it. So I'm just going to kind of do a base overview today, but if you want the detail of how to do that, that course is for you. So a link to that again, but essentially how Zapier can help you automate your processes or workflows is that it will do tasks for you without you having to do them. So you set it up one time and then it just keeps creating it. So the next question you might have is, well, what tasks can I automate? And we kind of already covered that. The biggest things that I like to automate is those templates, automatically creating templates. I also have it create my post that will be live on my website. It automatically creates the draft for that. So it adds in the URL and stuff to that automatically and the due date. So I don't have to go in and manually create that. It does it for me. Another thing that it does is it creates folders for me inside of Dropbox where all my media is going to be stored. It creates the script for my podcast. It's going to create my newsletter draft too. And the draft is more so of just the doc of where I'm creating it. Plus it does like the show notes doc for me. There's a lot of other docs that it does for me as well. But then what it does is it talks between each other. So like when I am done doing the keyword research that I talked about earlier, and I've entered in some data into my project management tool, which I use ClickUp for that. So once I've entered in that data, then Zapier will take that and transfer it into those documents for me. It'll transfer it to wherever it needs to go. And I create subtasks inside of ClickUp that need to be for YouTube, for whatever it's going to be. I label them. It goes to my, it also goes to my workflow setup. It's a Google sheet for my social media. And that was a past podcast that we talked about how I'm doing my social media differently, testing it out. And so that sends it there automatically for me. So really what you can automate with Zapier is those repetitive tasks that you don't physically need to be doing something. And so there's like the possibilities are endless. I'm not even utilizing it to its full extent. And so just kind of keep that in mind once you're writing out your workflows. Start thinking about what kind of things really can you automate? What do you need to be a part of? And what can you kind of hand off? Think of it like that. What can I hand off to this robot that's going to do it for me? Now, you might be wondering, well, okay, this sounds really difficult and it sounds very time consuming. And I'm going to be upfront with you. Setting this up initially, and Zapier has recently updated. I'm trying to think when they updated. They updated in like October or September of 2022, that they have made it so much easier to create these workflows, and they actually call them Zaps inside of Zapier. Before, they didn't have the option to duplicate things at all. So you couldn't copy anything from anywhere and duplicate it. It was so time consuming because they didn't have that option alone. But now they have a duplicate option, which is pretty awesome. Makes it so much easier to go through it and create it. So what they have been doing has been very beneficial in making it easier and less time consuming. And I'm going to be honest with you though, like it still is difficult. And I do want to look into the option of being able to provide you guys templates with what I already have set up in hopes that it will help you quickly set up your own Zapier Zaps. And so I'm just going to be upfront with you. It does take time. Yes, I would love to help you. And if you want, I do have mentorships or one-on-one calls where I can help you walk through that kind of thing and help you set up stuff. But that's the thing. I will not do it for you. I will help you with it. But the key here is that you need to do it yourself, because what I have found is that there's always something that you want to tweak. Just, I tweak stuff every few months, and a tweak is like so minimum and takes no time whatsoever. But these little tweaks, if you don't know how to do it, then it makes it very difficult. And so that's why I really want people to know how to do it. And I mean, we can basically set it up together, but I want you to understand the whole process and how it works. And so if you really want to set this up, be sure to reach out to me. You can find a link to my one-on-one call options that I have, my coaching calls on how to set up these automations, help you set them up, because really it has saved me so much time. I just wish that everybody could see how much time it would save them. I feel like you don't really understand until you've done it, how much time it will save you, because something that we're human beings, it's easier to do what you're doing rather than try to do the hard thing at the moment that seems hard, but actually will make your life easier. So I mean, this is something that happens in all businesses. You're a business. Change is hard. So I just want to encourage you to look into it, even if you set up one tiny little Zap just to get started. And yes, it does cost money. I know more things that cost money, but it's completely worth it, because the time that it will save you, you don't have to hire someone if that's what you need right now is like, I got to hire somebody to do this for me. This could allow you to not even have to hire that person. And so it's less money than hiring that person. So just remember that as well. And reach out to me. I would love to help you set that up. But automating workflows with Zapier is so incredibly powerful for your business and for entrepreneurs. I just wish everyone could see how awesome they are. I have shown videos of kind of what mine does before in the past, and I feel like people just need a walkthrough of it, and then they might kind of get it, but even then, it just barely touches the surface of how awesome it is. So I want you to just think about automation in your business. As an entrepreneur, it's going to help you streamline so many things. Even if I'm going to also recommend, if you just want to start doing some type of automation, I have a mini course. It's called Automation Kickstarter, which it helps you start automating little things. And these little things are actually kind of like the pre's to the big automation. And so I recommend starting there if you've never done it before. So I'll link to that too below just to help you get started. But I cannot recommend Zapier enough. Yes, there are other automation tools out there, but Zapier has been around the longest, and it's the one that I know because I've used it for years. So it's hard to make a change, right? We were talking about that, but it's hard to make a change when I already have everything set up. And so if someone comes out with something bigger and better, then maybe I'll make the change. But as of right now, I haven't found them. So if you guys know more people if you have questions about some other app or software that does automation, please reach out to me and we'll discuss it in another episode. But yeah, I hope that you really do see the benefit of automating your workflows with Zapier, because it will save you time. It'll help you save money, and it'll help you grow your business, because you're not going to be focusing on all those little teeny tasks. You can focus on the things that actually grow your business. So if you're an entrepreneur looking to increase your efficiency, then automating your workflows with Zapier is the perfect solution for you. And what I want you to do is I want you to either click one of the links in the description below to either Zapier, so you can actually see what it is and start setting up your automating workflows now, or I'm going to encourage you to look at that mini course that I offer, that automation Kickstarter. And if it is live, you can look at the automated assistant is what it's called, the advanced automating using Zapier, which I highly recommend. Or you can even just reach out to me and do a one-on-one call with me where I help you walk through this and set it up yourself. So with that, I hope you have a wonderful day.